doing it. It's happening. We're doing the thing. Let's give the 9 people that will watch this a few moments to show up. Do we look at this? We gotta, whoosh, we really gotta go see our team of prevention. It's a look. What are you gonna do? Don't get old, kids. Don't do it. Give it up for Lent or something. I do actually have some things to chat about. It's kind of a recap, a rundown, if you will. I don't know how informative it's going to be. But then again, these things aren't necessarily, well, sometimes they're informative, I guess. Let's see. I'm going to talk about our time at the Dallas Guitar Show. Probably going to talk about some setup tools, some of my recommendations for you. Why? Because they're sitting on this desk. May notice that. Damn it. Wait. I haven't decided to keep it yet, but I have decided that it should live here for a while. That's fun. What else? I don't know what else. We've been doing some things, working on like extras. And what I mean by that is things that aren't making of the guitars, but are part of the overall thing. Like cases. Hank, good morning. I've said this before ad nauseum. Cases, it's process of dealing with cases. I don't like it. I don't like it at all. Although on one hand, it can be fun because there is a creative side of it, right? Especially if you're going to have some cases made, you could, you have an option of various coverings, various liners and lining and stuff like that. And that's cool and that's fun. One thing that's not fun is if you need to have cases made, there are, just like with anything in having something made, you learn fun acronyms. And this isn't even related to cases, but I remember when we first started the conspiracy series stuff, any kind of, international, business that requires shipping, you're going to learn some jargon. You're going to learn some jargon, people. Things like MOQ and X work and, just all sorts of stuff that I can't even really remember right now. But MOQ is one that I have become. It affects a lot of what we do. MOQ stands for minimum order quantity. Okay. So let's say you want to get some stuff made. And, let's say you want to have just like a tchotchke, you can make anything. But, I have a small business. I would like to have this thing made. I might find some great pricing from the various outlets you can use to find manufacturers for these things, be it word of mouth, be it a place like Alibaba. Um, but then you're thinking like, well, I don't need a whole ton. Maybe just like 100 of that. That ought to last me a little while. And then so you find you reach out to a company that will make your thing, and you're like, I would like to have these things made. Great. Our minimum is 1,000, and well, that's not quite what I had in mind. So you have these minimum order quantities. Sometimes it's easy to make, sometimes it's not, and so you don't do that. Like I found years ago, I found the company that makes they make cases and gig bags for pretty much everybody, and specifically, like, what I had found were like the mono gig bags, which are really nice. And I found the factory, and I see the prices for those things. And granted, the prices you see on Alibaba aren't necessarily always the exact price for the thing that you want, but it was very, very enticing. And then you see that, and it's like, you got to order 500. And I'm like, I would love to be able to order 500 of these things, because then, I would have 500 of these things, and then, I would be able to use as many of them as I need. And then I could also sell them, so that's nice. But then there's the whole like, okay, 500 of these things are going to cost me, I don't remember what it was, but let's say it's like $25,000. It's not, but I mean, maybe it is. I don't remember. But then it's like, oh, okay, well, I just checked and I don't have $25,000 sitting in my pants. So maybe I do. Ooh, OnlyFans. Only frats. Anyway, so we've been doing a lot of stuff with that, like with cases. Been working on this like 71 Stardust hybrid case. And it'll be cool, but I got to get like 2 dozen of them. That doesn't seem like a lot until you get your total cost. And then it's like, okay, that's how much that costs. And then shipping all those things. I don't know if you've ever shipped 24 cases at once. Granted, there are ways you can minimize these things. You're not sending them individually, because that's crazy. But, anyway, there's just a lot. So, on one hand, I've got G&G, which, they make our Concord cases and the Trella cases for now. And those cases, they're really nice. The Concord cases, I have to put some work into them because I do. But that's okay. And, with G&G, I can get smaller batches, which is great. Super great. But, Fender keeps them very, very, very busy. So it's tough to, get something done in time. But, so I've been dealing with that. Just, fact finding. Also successfully had some extras. What I mean extras, I mean like things that go with the guitar when you open it, because, we're used to an unboxing experience. And holy shit, it is really hot in here. Hold, please. Oof. I am sweaty. Okay. That accelerated quickly. Hello. What was I talking about? Cases, extras. Oh, unboxing experience. The unboxing experience. has become a thing, and I think I think that's an Apple. I think Apple started that, and you know, we get this thing that we're excited about, and it's not enough to just have the thing. There has to be a presentation. There has to be some extras. There has to be some, you know, case candy, as kids call it. Ooh, hey, that's some fine alliteration there. Um, and so, I've tried to do the best I can with these things over the years. We get picks made, we get stickers, we have those cleaning cloths made, which are great. Those cleaning cloths, I know that when people get the guitars from us that have cleaning cloths in them, I think the majority of people don't use them. Please use them. They're really nice. And the reason why I can say that with some level of confidence is because when I see these things come up, the guitars like come up on the used market, all the stuff that I put together, like it's still in the, there's the stickers, there's the picks, and there's the cleaning cloth and whatever. And that's fine. I mean, I understand that we may not live a life that involves us putting stickers all over everything. That's cool. But I'm still going to send you stickers because, oh shit, you know what I got to do? Oh, this will be fun. I got to talk to my pals at Chibson USA because like they made a Chibson activity book. And I believe like Sam Ash had them. And they're great. So I was just thinking like a Sully Guitars sticker book. Oh, that would be fun. That would be really fun. Not even stickers, but like, a Sully Guitars activity book. Like, we could, have a page like help Sully color his, help Sully fix his roots. Stuff like that. It'll come with a black Sharpie and, like the picture of me will be gray and you can just color it, help me out, do me a solid. That would be a lot of fun. But okay, so this is a great example. So this would be a very fun thing to do. And I first need to find a designer. Maybe I could talk to my friends at Chibson USA. I'm sure they could help me out. So we'd find the designer. We'd make the thing. So that's obviously going to cost some money. And then getting it made, this is a prime example of, so let's be real. If I only included them with guitars, I could get a couple of hundred of them and they would last me for a good while. Unless I decided to put them in whatever. I can get a few hundred of them and they would last me for a while. Let's just say 250. For something like this, to have it at a reasonable price point, because this is probably something that I'm just going to give away, I probably need to get like 1,000 of them. It's cost prohibitive. That's the term I'm looking for. That's why we need to have. We just need to have millions of dollars in funding. The sad thing is that it won't last very long. But that's a whole other story. But anyway, unboxing. I gotta say, so clearly Caffeinated Sully is here. But I also think that Caffeinated Sully is doing a fairly decent job staying on task. Or on topic, so far. We'll see how it goes. So I used to do the picks and the stickers, and then one thing that I used to do that I stopped was kind of include this little spec sheet that had a photo of the guitar on it. And, it was one of those things where it was extra time and something that I would just do. And I thought it was like a nice little thing. And, I don't have like an amazing printer here, but I years ago, I got some feedback that it was like, that it just wasn't the greatest look. So I'm like, fuck it, I don't have to do that anymore, so I'm not gonna. However, it's something that I've felt that information should be presented in some form, with the guitar. I think it's a nice thing. I mean, granted, the person that ordered the guitar, if they go through their emails, they'll have the specs. And I mean, I've got the specs for all that stuff. I'm often reached out to, after, like, if someone's about to put their guitar on reverb, or if someone is interested, in something that, people will hit me up like, hey, what are the specs on this? And I'm like, oh, I'm happy to tell you, but like, also like, do I really need to help you sell your guitar? In theory, it's in my best interest to do that. So the answer is yes. But so there have been, I've had something that I think is super, super rad made. And that will go with, new customs, and I'll probably send them to like people that had customs like in the last, like so far, like this year, and maybe in 2023. But I think it'll be cool. So I'm excited about that, because let's face it, you got to create this experience. Even though I think, and certainly I can do better job of this, the constant, like, I'm super reachable. And I do my best to send progress photos when I can. I'm probably not as great at doing that now as I have been in years previously, just because we're just trying to get through more stuff. And I was gluing a couple of necks into their respective bodies yesterday, and I'm looking at these empty neck pockets, and like a blank neck pocket and a blank neck heel, and I'm like, I'm supposed to write something here. I can't think of anything to write here. I can think of absolutely nothing to write here. And I could have just written that, but I figured that it would probably just be best to not write anything. So like that sort of thing happens less and less, where I'm, kind of putting song lyrics and stuff. Sometimes it happens, sometimes, most of the times it doesn't, but I do with I do just about every single occasion. I do sign the one of the pickup cavities. It's usually like the bridge pickup, or whichever one, like when it goes to paint and it's put in a holder. Some holders screw into like a pickup cavity. So if there are like a bunch of holes, or if that area is torn up, like in the bridge pickup, I'll generally sign it in the pickup cavity. But writing on the like under the fretboards, like I still do it, but not very often. Anyway, I am doing my best to kind of create an experience, but you have to do all of these other things. Because the expectations are there. And, I remember seeing one guitar available on Reverb, and I think they got the specs from the website. Maybe it was I think it was a 622. And, we do a pretty good job of putting the specs, the general specs. You can see them. They don't really change on 622s with maybe like one exception, or two. And so in the description, they had like the specs, and, it kind of mentions case candy. Well, Sully doesn't really do much here. I'm like, oh my God. And I understand, like, okay, sure. And I'm like, I'm fucking trying, man. It's funny. So, over the past few months, I've done some fact-finding missions. I went to visit our pals at the Guitar Sanctuary, which is a great place for me to do some general research. When I was working on the gig bags for the Conspiracy Series runs, I had the samples made, but then I took like one of the samples to Guitar Sanctuary, and I'm like, help me out here. Give me some thoughts. Give me some input. And some of it I didn't really apply, but there was some good stuff there, and we put together a really rad gig bag. I really wish I had more of those things. I don't have any. But it's okay. Um, but yeah, I saw the case came. Really doesn't do much. I'm like, oh, man. Okay. I will go back to bleeding in a case for you. How about that? I'll just go, oh, here's your guitar. It's got my blood. I did bleed in one guitar, in the pickup cavity in one guitar. Let's see. My man. Yeah, it is. Especially, I think, are helpful, um, especially when the guitar inevitably changes hands. Because, I mean, let's be real. I mean, like, people move stuff around. And it's just, there's nothing, I don't mean that as a judgment. But yeah, it is all like creating the experience. Because, like, the picks that we have made, they just glow in the dark. Are these the picks that I use? My fine crafted plectrum? Like, no, because I don't really care about that stuff. But, like, yeah, I use them because that's what I've got a ton of. But let me tell you this one. This one, I've had this for a few years. I got this at the Dallas Guitar Show years ago. This is a Dunlop Flow. I don't know what it is about these things. It's great. This might be the Andy James one. I don't remember. Maybe not. Probably no. This is just a standard 1 mil Dunlop Flow pick. Bitchin'. But yeah, like, I don't expect people to use the picks that I send. Anyway, whatever. But yeah. Let's see. Right? There's a good idea. Crowdfund for the activity book. We could do that. My experience in doing that was positive, but oh my God, is it a lot? It is crowdfunding anything like on Kickstarter. Let me tell you, it is a roller coaster ride because you are, well, it taps into like your dopamine craving, and yeah, yeah. Let's see. That doesn't mean that. Well, I mean, I love tacos and barbecue. I don't. It's funny. Actually, we went to Mrs. Sully and I went to Fuel City, which is a good taco place in a gas station in the city. We went there last weekend because we went to an art fair and then we went and got some tacos. But like, I eat tacos far less than anyone imagines, and like barbecue, I do love Rudy's barbecue. I understand that there are barbecue Nazis in Texas that will turn their nose up at it because it's like, oh well, it wasn't, whatever, because they're a chain. People can like what they like. And a lot of people say, oh, you got to go to Hard Eight. I went there once, and everything tasted good, but within like 10 minutes, everything had to leave me. So Hard Eight became like a hard out, and it was, I'm not going back. And I understand that was my experience. Everyone's mileage may vary, but like when going to the Dallas Guitar Show last 3 weeks ago, I don't know, it was like 1978. The plan was, and Derek from Rev, they were going to go, and a lot of people love Hard Eight, so like this is not a knock on Hard Eight by any means. Like when I ate it, like everything tasted good, but like again, it was the after. Like immediately, Perf told me he had a similar experience. But anyway, let's move on. At hotels and with Ferraris it works, papers, etc. But people don't get to talk to the place down at Treat Service. Oh, I can't get. Oh, here, I can't get the whole. Wait, can I get? Oh, here we go. We can scroll. Hotels and Ferraris it works, papers, etc. But people don't get to talk those places down, treat the services like crap. But yeah, that's true. Even the best of buyers try to talk luthiers down on pricing. That's true. one of the few luxury businesses where it's okay to wipe your feet on the makers. Um, yeah, it happens, and it's tough. I think. Um, Pricing is tough, especially when it's on your own stuff, and because you're making this thing, and you say, well, you look around, it's like how much other people charge for this thing. Okay, well, these people are maybe a little bit more established. You know, they charge a little bit more. I think go a little bit less because nobody knows who the hell I am. Nobody really cares who the hell I am, and that really never changes. But so you're pricing. But as you're doing that, also you're saying this thing that I created is worth this dollar amount, and then to take that further, you're saying I am worth this, high value or low value amount, and it can be. It's tough sometimes, and I do what I can to remove myself, to take myself out of it, but there is that, and we went through the first price increase I've had since 2015, and it was very difficult for me to do. It's still very difficult for me to do. But when I look at it at the end of the day, like we'll use this, we'll use my 622 as a reference point. This thing was quite a hit at Dallas Guitar Show. Derek was nice enough to put this on the booth. So I'll get more into that. But we've seen this before. It's just, it's better than, I think it's better. But this, you get one of these from Anderson or Suhr or the Fender master built assemblers. That was mean. That was uncalled for. But I know it's applicable to some. And it's like $2,000 more. Yeah, but that's Anderson and Suhr and Fender. Yeah, sure, that's true. But is a logo worth $2,000 more? And in some of those cases, you still have a big fucking clunky neck heel. Anyway, so while it's difficult, I try to take some consolation in knowing that we're still not the most expensive, custom guitar maker by any stretch. And quite frankly, I would love to be able to keep things moving where we were, but it's impossible. And this year has been really, really rough as far as new orders. And there's a part of me that's like, because it's because we did the increase. But then, and then when I speak to other, like my friends that do this, many of which have higher costs than I do, it's not that like everyone is like dead in the water. We look at the used market and it's real soft and whatever. This is not, here's Sully's market analysis. Splash of different hot sauce depending on how spicy the build was. But so spicy the build, like how spicy the build was how irritated I was by it, or how much of a, man, this thing went together like a breeze, or this one did not. Hey, cool guitar. Hey, cool guitar to you, Joe. Dean, realize what we put now. Other luxury business, watches, cars, clothing, prices. Yeah, people are okay with it. Yeah, sure. Um, a race to the bottom. C, BC Rich, and Dean. That's a whole other thing. Let's see. It's less about. Oh wait. Okay. Dean's got some good points here. Less about the logo. While that is a huge part of the cost factor, obviously brand power has a say. Yes, that's true. But look at the boutique car makers and watchmakers, often 2 to 3 times the price of even brands. Oh, interesting. Danny Spitz, who was Anthrax guitar player. I think he moved down to the Dallas Fort Worth area, and he makes watches. Yeah. Good morning to you, Johnny. Yeah. So I really hope that didn't come across as like Sully's just whining about, because just everything. Because I'm super well aware that the issues that I face in day to day in doing this are problems that I would have killed for years ago, and so I do have that perspective. But and when I can chat with other manufacturers and friends of mine who are, it's been a slow couple of years. It takes it's nice to know. I'm like, okay, then so maybe it's not just me, maybe it's us. It's not, but it doesn't change the fact that okay, so we're all in this difficult time, and there's some solace in that, but solace doesn't cover overhead. Yet. Yes, Brian. Snafj. Clunky neck heels are for jerks. And they're made by jerks. Yes, Paul Reed Smith, I am talking about you. Shots fired. Ooh. Okay. Dallas Guitar Show. Was it fun? This is kind of nice to kind of sit with. As much as I crap on these things, this guitar rips. Yeah, it's just a fact. It's kind of like, I was thinking about this as I was trying to make myself look semi-presentable for this. Like, I do need to stop, like, speaking negatively of the things that I create, because, if I'm saying negative things about it, then I'm not really setting a great example. But, it's kind of like going back to this being, whatever. Motley Crue did a cover of Helter Skelter. Do I think it's better than the original Helter Skelter? Without a doubt. It's a million times better than the original version of Helter Skelter. But like, if you were to ask any member of Motley Crue what their favorite Motley Crue song was, none of them are going to say Helter Skelter or a cover. They'll probably pick some things that maybe were large hits, or whatever, something that was a little bit more them. That's why I love this guitar. I've been through I've taken it. It's been on multiple continents. It's well traveled. We've had a good time with this guitar. It's fun. It's got Dolly Parton on the back. See right there. See there's Dolly and my Diamondback sticker. But I get a bigger kick out of this one, and definitely this one. But that's okay. We do like our children. Some of our children we like better than others. That's just a fact. Timely. This is timely. This is very, very timely. So I have some thoughts. This year, we've been working with a distributor for Europe. They're great. It's like, from what I've been able to discern, this is the distributor to work with. So I'm stoked about that. I've got to make some demo guitars for them to take around to the stores, and that. So that's a bit of a process. So it's not like something we could just like flip a switch and we're good to go. But there's, Guitar Summit in Germany. It's the week of my birthday. It's a good reason to go to Germany. And the nice thing about Germany is it's real close to where? That's right, France, where Sully wants to spend the rest of his life. And so I'm kind of thinking to myself, I could make these demo guitars and I could take them with me to Guitar Summit. And this isn't a really well thought out, I haven't really thought this out super great, but then again, that's on brand. But that's my idea. I could fly these things out. How do I do this? Kind of economically. You can get a table, and I could maybe take 4 guitars. I could put them in 2 Gator mini vaults and just roll them on the plane instead of shipping them. And these are just my initial thoughts. And so then I go to the Guitar Summit website, and registration is closed because registration ended on April 30th. And so so there's that. You could get in on the waiting list. And so I started filling out the application for the waiting list, but it asks, on the waiting list, you've got to pick, like, you want a booth space or do you want like a tabletop? And I'm like, I don't know. And like, I think it kind of walks you through to the point to where you're putting in some payment information. And it's like, this is, going back to when I was talking about, having a whole bunch of cases made, and now we've got, 24 cases, and that's going to be a cost. The cost is pretty similar to what it would be to taking on this endeavor. Now, if we were to say comparing having a bunch of cases made versus, going over and doing this thing in Europe, then, it's not apples and oranges. It's if you have to spend that money, I think it's probably better spent. It could be better spent long term by doing the show, provided you get some of the results that you're hoping for. So I want to talk. I've talked to some people about doing the thing, but I don't know that it's going to happen. And I don't know. I would like to make it work. Ultimately, I would probably like to make it like a 2-week thing. So I'd go and do that, and then I would just go hang out in France, and then maybe forget to get back on the plane back to the U.S. But that's a bridge I'll jump off of when I get to it. Yes. Yep. If you haven't tried the Gator cases, those Gator vaults, and if you have a need to get more of them, give that a try, because the people that I know that have had both prefer the Gator one. Let's see. Right? That's a great point. It's a really great point. Any German Sully user, so you could tell them to reach out for meet and greet. They bring their Sullys and you demo with those, so you don't travel all the guitars. See, yes, that's a good point. And there is one particular German that we'll be working with, so that's fun, and more on that later. Let's see. What else do we got? Yes, for sure. I mean, like John Suhr and Tom Anderson, they have a lot more overhead than I do. Actually, a lot of people that do this have a lot more overhead than I do, and it's relative, and I understand. But can we just pay for that with exposure? That'd be nice. Thanks. Are you gonna go? Oh, well, yeah. I think you are gonna go. Are you getting your own space? Or are you going tabletop? Ooh, the Guitar Sanctuary comes up with a link, a YouTube link. That could be suspect, knowing those folks at the guitar. No, wait, they're lovely people. You should give them your money, specifically for the 71 limited that they've got. That thing is super dope, and it's one of the, you know, I mean, like, I did all the stain on that. I mean, and then it was just clear coated. Yeah. So, like, that's like a super Sully kind of thing. Not that anything that I didn't paint isn't, but I don't know, some people care about that shit. Boy, would I love to bring paint back in house. Joe and Dean, I know that we know. I don't know. I would love to be able to bring that back in house. Love to bring that back in house. Love to bring that back in house. So why don't you? Because I can't. Yet. Some serious things would have to change. Some, yeah, it would be, most problems are fixed with time or money, but usually both. This would be time, money, and staffing. Because I don't want to go back to painting. I'm okay at it. Good enough to do it, but I don't have my time is needed elsewhere. And finding somebody that can do that stuff here is rub the lamp again. But man, it'd save me a lot of hassle. Because there's nothing like opening up. No, not going to go down the hole. So Dallas Guitar Show, we had a really nice time. We got to spend the show next to our pal Derek at Rev Amplification, the lovely Derek Eastbelt of Rev Amplifications. Rev amps are killer. I've got a G50 that I picked up. A G20 that I picked up about a month or so ago. I got a really good deal on it for the show, and it was it's super great. And Derek was nice enough to put the White Mare Relic Sully Raven that we had, put it on the booth at NAMM. It was super nice of him. I super appreciate that. And before when the Dallas show was coming up, I thought, well, I've got some guitars from NAMM that I could take, and we could probably piece together a smaller. We can get 8 guitars, and so I reached out to Derek. I'm like, "Are you going to do the Dallas show?" And he's like, "Well, maybe." Are you? And I'm like, yeah, maybe if you are. And so we decided that we would both do the show, and we would be neighbors. And that was a really great idea, I think, because we got to spend some time. We wound up at a really great spot in the show because the other side of the aisle from us was like someone selling jewelry, and then there was someone for like a nonprofit or a medical nonprofit or something like that. So there wasn't like it was a little bit of a wider aisle, and there wasn't a bunch of guitars coming at us. So we were the problem. We just had a really nice setup. I think it was very comfortable for people to come out, play guitars through some great amps, and have a good time. Uncle Ben Eller hung out with us fair amount that weekend because he was in town playing at the show. And so Ben was playing this. And if you saw the Rev live stream, Derek was talking about Ben and Perfecto were playing together, and they just started playing Rosanna. And so Derek was saying like his whole drive home to Canada, he had like Rosanna just going through his head. And, I must have listened to it like, a million times. And like I have that on video. So I'll have to send that to him just to kind of keep that earworm going for him. But as it would turn out, Ben really liked my 622, and why wouldn't he? Because it is super dope. And so we're gonna make a really ridiculous guitar for him, and I'm excited about that. Let's see. Most people were pretty cool at the Dallas Guitar Show. It was nice to see some friends. It was nice to make some new friends. It was nice to see the young kids, those who have the youth had the future and all that stuff. And it's nice to see kids come and like the guitars, and makes me a little nervous sometimes to have little ones playing things that could be a little costly for their parents if something happened to it. But the look and the happiness that you create, that goes a long way. I remember when I was 12 or so, I was going along with a friend of mine. They went with their family on a little weekend vacation, and I remember we stopped in a guitar store, and they had one of those Washburn A20V. So it was kind of like the chopped up Explorer kind of looking thing that Carlos Cavazo played in Quiet Riot, but it was like the one, and it had like red binding. It was kind of like a hot red kind of, and I remember they had one. I'd never seen one before, and I really liked that guitar, and I saw one in person, and I remember I'm like, oh my God. And I got to play it a little bit, and I'm like, man, that thing's so cool. Like so much so that like my friend would like ask his dad if he'd buy it for me. I'm like, that's a friend. Of course his dad's like, get bent, but I still, that was something that happened like 18,000 years ago. So maybe some of those moments will happen for those kids. I'm sure they'll have those moments regardless of if I'm involved in that or not. But it made me think of some of that. And yeah, it was pretty good. Have the Rev 4 G4 pedal, the best distortion pedal I've ever had, says Johnny. And damn it, I believe him. So yeah, that was good. Would have really liked to have, it was nice because some people got to pick up their guitars in person. So that's great. And I really enjoyed getting to meet and reconnect with those two lovely people. Would have been great to have sold some guitars, but again, like a lot of people went and didn't sell guitars. A lot of people went and sold guitars. Good for them. I would just like to be in that other category. Well, maybe you should make something that doesn't look so stupid. Maybe. I don't know how. Yeah. What else? Oh, I'm going to share with you just a couple of tools that I can't live without. Seriously, I'll die. We don't want that. Maybe we'd be all right with it. And I don't mean that in a dark kind of sad bastard way, but we were joking earlier last week at lunch. I don't know. There was something, God, I forget the exact topic, but I remember saying something about, if the meteor wants to come and just shut this whole thing down, like it's okay. I'm fine with it. And, I think Adam and young David have a different opinion on that sort of thing, which is also fine. But, yeah, I remember Adam saying something like, yeah, I know we gotta, cheer you up or something like that. This is a terrible anecdote because I don't remember it well enough, but I remember it was funny when it happened. You had to be there. We're now going to talk about tools that I can't live without. This one is a little more Plex specific because the plec, uses certain parameters to adjust the frets. And then you have to, it's in your best interest to set the guitar up in accordance with how the plec wants to do things. So without getting, I'll give you got to get your neck relief to a certain point. It wants it at 5,000ths. If you use like the Stumac one of these, you got to put it, like it only spans, like it winds up hitting it at the 5th fret. And like, I don't know about you, but I don't want to measure my relief at the 5th fret. It's that this is like your creamy center here. So this one goes, this will work, like lands right around the 7th. More on detail on this tool in a minute. But so you got to get your relief at 5,000ths, and then you're going to check your string height at the 12th fret, which I don't particularly like doing. I prefer 17. But if the machine is calibrated, if everything is calibrated off of those 2 points, fine. I can work with that. If you give me parameters, I can work with that, right? Right. So this little guy is the Precision Neck Relief Gauge from G-Tech Guitar Works. I am compensated for this in no way whatsoever. So far, they're welcome to send me an extra. But I've purchased 2 of these. I've only found them on eBay. And so this is a little digital neck relief gauge. The way that this works is, first you got to zero this out. So you do need something flat. I have a joiner bed that is perfectly flat, so I can use that. These guys, they also sell like an aluminum leveling beam that is like 18 inches, and you can use that. So here I am selling products for people that. Anyway, so we do this. You put it on the 1st. You get right around the 17th. Well, right now it's telling me that I'm at 6,000ths of relief. It's great. It's great. It's great. It's great. There are plenty of people say, oh man, I just eyeball it. And I go by feel. That's great. It's good for you, I guess. But like, I want to know. I want to know where it is, because then I can get the task done and move on. Anyway, so get one of those. But if you don't have a joiner or something super perfectly flat that you can zero it out at, you're going to need that. And so this little bag was just something that I saved from an airplane trip, which has been quite helpful. Music Nomad. I use a lot of their products. I've bought some of their setup tools recently. Some of them aren't my favorites, but these 2 things are things that I do like. So this is the truss rod tool. You've got your standard little truss rod guys there. That in and of itself is, well, it's not particularly sexy, but this guy is. Where'd you go? There you are, right there. Spoke wheel adjustment tool. Or you could just put like a 2mm wrench in there. You could. You could also get one of these and put that in there. And then you have all of your other wrenches. So that's cool. That's groovy. That's fun. But the thing that I use the most, and this is like my home kit of stuff. I have, versions of this stuff at the shop. And I have specific, so this like little screwdriver set, get this. This is really good. I don't use this at the shop because I have specific screwdrivers that I prefer, that I like, but for here, it just makes your little screwdriver. You've got all of the attachments that you need, like specifically for guitar stuff. So it's got stuff for, your saddles. It's got Allen wrenches for this. It's got different screwdriver heads for this stuff. The only thing, so then it does give you this. The nice thing about this one is that it's got like a little suede, like soft backing to it. Get the ESP spanner because it's thicker. You'll bend this. This is, it's nice in a jam, but like it bends. And the nice thing about like this screwdriver handle is that it has, it's got like little hex attachments. So like the 10 mil is great for if you've got to tighten up your little. You could also use this little spanner. But if you get their string winder, it's got a 10 mil at the end of it. And those are great. You'll eventually strip them out. But so those are, and then the last thing, talking about using this guy, measuring string height, is there's a million of these. Like this one I got on Amazon. It's like $10. The Baroque string action ruler. So you get your string height right here. So you can go, yeah, this one's just above 50 thousandths on the treble, just above 50 on the bass. I can take this down. I know that I can, and it'll be fine. Yeah, so those are tools that I have at the house, and I like. The Music Nomad string cutter is also pretty good. I don't know that I have one here. I had this string cutter that I've used since I was like 16. It was just like a Craftsman like wire cutter. And unfortunately, it finally broke. That was the best thing that I ever had for that. But the Music Nomad string cutter is pretty good. I've tried their fret files recently, and I don't like them. I tried their diamond fret end tool. I love the diamond aspect of it, but the corners of the file aren't. On the StewMac one, the StewMac fret end tool, it's got the rounded side, and then it's got like the flat side with the 90s, so you get those edges. That works better. So like, if there was a StewMac version that was diamond, that'd be dope. But so I still prefer the StewMac file to the Music Nomad one. The Music Nomad one's okay, but it just doesn't get that little corner like right down, where the fret end meets the wood. Also got their beveling file. I don't like the angle of the bevel. I love the feel of the holder. It's substantial. It feels good in the hand. But the angle of the file, it's like, I forget what they've got it set at, but it winds up, like when I ran it down the fretboard, it like immediately bevels the fretboard edge, which you might want that to a certain extent, but this took off a lot. And so your mileage may vary. Like I wish I could get the handle that the file goes in. The files themselves are really nice. I wish I could get the handle that the file goes in without the grooves cut in it for the bevel, and then just cut my own bevel in it, because I would like that better. As with all of that stuff, your mileage may vary. I'm compensated in no way for any of this stuff. And again, I'm just a caffeinated idiot yammering about guitars in his underpants. Well, in my jam pants, on a Saturday morning. So it was really nice of you to watch. Oh yeah, let's see. See, people are chiming in. Love the Music Nomad stuff. The blue kit is great. I got that same one. See? Oh, Josh, do you know can you read like a electronics schematic and translate that into like a wiring diagram for humans? Because if so, I have a very small but very important project for you. All right, we're leaving with that. Shout out to Andrew in his underpants. I hope you have a lovely day.